Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a lot of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general, and in this video we're going to be talking about a worker placement game. We're going to be talking about Carnegie, and in this game you will be placing your workers out onto your departments. You'll be sending them on missions in the hope that you can get victory points that will allow you to win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like. Then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Carnegie is worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. We'll see you after this. Bollocks. Carnegie. How do you play this game? So Carnegie is a action selection / worker placement game, right? That loosely follows the endeavours of the philanthropist and union busting bastard Andrew Carnegie. Everyone will get a player board. You'll see there's some pre-printed departments on your player board, and everyone will be able to choose a department from the supply of 16 to put in their personal supply. And this is going to be the first department that you'll be able to build. So the way that you select actions in this game is that you will be choosing one of the tokens that correspond to the 4 actions. You've got the HR action, you've got the management action, you've got the research and development action, and you've got the construction action. What you'll do, you'll choose which action you want to activate. Then you'll move it to the next space on the right, and then this is the area on the map that you will activate for income. You look at the missions area on that region on the map, and then if you've got a meeple on that area, you'll be able to take them off the board and put them in your lobby, laid down, and then you'll take income that corresponds to the position that you are on that track, right? You'll also be able to take any income that has been revealed on any of the sliders that are on the right hand side of your board, right? So once you've done this, you'll be able to take that action. Depending on what action is chosen, the first player will look at their player board and they'll find all of the departments that correspond to the following action. So if you take the HR action, you'll look for the HR symbol and you'll activate that action. HR is basically a move action. You'll be able to move your meeples around your departments dependent on how many movement points the department tells you you've got. So the pre-printed one is going to give you at least 3 movement, right? Whenever you move a meeple or bring a meeple back into your lobby, it's going to be laid down and you have to pay to activate it at the end of your turn, right? So the next action you can take is the management action. This is how you're going to get cubes and money. If you look at the pre-printed ones, it tells you that in order to activate some of them, you've got to send a meeple on a mission, right? This doesn't mean you're going to send them out trying to get a load of dope, right? You're going to take the meeple off of your player board and you're going to place it on the mission region, and this will allow you to take the actions. So for instance, you might have to place a meeple on a mission and then you'll get a free meeple, or maybe you just want to move your workers around your department for spaces, right? So the next action you can take is the construction action. This is where you'll be taking discs off of your sliders and you'll be putting them onto different connections on the board. So for instance, one of the actions that you could take is you have to send a meeple on a mission. You'll pay 1 or 2 cubes to take a disc off of one of the sliders. You'll choose a city and you'll place it on a corresponding symbol. So if you took a disc off of the housing slider, then you'll have to place it in the region where you placed your meeple and on a housing symbol in that region, right? So the final action you could take is the research and development action. You'll see that most of these departments will give you a certain number of study points, yeah, and you can use these in a number of ways. You can bump up your disc on an income track as many points as you want, and then that will increase your income, and if you get it to the end you'll get a reward, and you're the only person that's allowed to do that, by the way. Or you can use study points to pull your sliders out of your board, right? Cost is listed on each one if you're using housing, and 4 if you're bumping it up to the pink one at the top, right? You pull the slider out and then you'll place a disc on the spot that you've just revealed, you know? So you'll see on the main action selection board there is also a space that tells you can make donations. The first player will get first dibs and you will be able to choose a donation spot and place a disc on it. The first one you're going to do is going to cost you $5, then $10 and so on and so forth, right? But there are departments that allow you to put these down cheaper. So once you've used all of the departments that you want to use, then you'll be able to pay the cost listed on your player board to stand meeples up, right? These then become active and you'll be able to use them and send them on missions. And you'll keep doing this and then you'll do a big massive bunch of final scoring. The main one being that you get points for different links that you've connected on major cities, right? Then you get points for discs that you got in cities, and you get points for loads of other bullshit that I can't be bothered to talk about. And then the player with the most points at the end of the game will be the winner of Carnegie. What do we like about Carnegie? So the first thing that we really like about this game is that the rewards in terms of income can be split into two, right? There's an interesting choice here, right? Do you pull off all your workers and get your income once, but then you'll have a bigger pool of workers in your lobby to spread on your departments, right? Or do you leave your workers on the mission spaces and then pull them off when it's next activated to get double income? If you pull both workers off, you're going to get double the income that's actually on the track on the board. But you're only going to be able to activate the sliders income once, yeah? Leaving the workers out on the board means you're going to have less workers in your department to do the dirty work for you, right? And you've also got to be mindful of the fact that maybe the income isn't going to be activated until right near the end of the game, right? Because there's 20 turns in this game. So it's a nice choice in terms of income. And if you bugger it up, it's on you because there's not really that much randomization in this game, you know? Second thing that we really like about this game is that all of the actions will be available throughout the game, right? Whenever I've played this, a lot of the first timers do say, well, if the action marker gets to the end, then I can't take that action. Yes, you can. What happens is when the marker gets to the end of the board, you're going to activate the event space on the track below it, right? And if that's at the end, then you're going to go up to the top. So this means you've got to be very mindful about when you activate different actions because they directly relate to when income is taken and when donations can be made, right? If you're just thinking about what action you want to take, say you want to take the construction action because you're desperate to get that final link, it's going to give you a load of points. You might have a bunch of workers in the east that you don't want to trigger yet. You've got to decide which is more important, right? There's loads of meaty decisions like that in this game, right? And if you like Euro games, that's what you want, innit? So the final thing that we really like about Carnegie is that the end game scoring provides a really, really tense finale. There are victory points that are going to be available, but these are few and far between. So most of the scoring comes at the end of the game. It's very difficult to see who is in the lead. And this means that you're not going to be able to have a kingmaker. Nobody is going to be able to gang up on anyone else. Nobody is going to be sat there going, I've lost. There's nothing I can do anymore. And some of these donations are really, really powerful. So if you've managed to bag a few of them, then you're always thinking, have I done enough to win? Yeah. The fact that most of the scoring takes place once a game's done means that you're going to be on the edge of your seats, bricking it as to whether or not you've won the game. So what don't we like about Carnegie? So the first thing that we don't like about Carnegie is, whilst the artwork on it is sort of suitable for the theme or lack of theme, really, the colour scheme really does look like a bucket of sick. It's got like this horrible sort of like diarrhea coloured yellow with whites and blues. It just looks like that pavement pizza that you get outside a pub on a Sunday morning. But this one's covered with a sheen of mould, you know. So whenever I see this game out on the table, it does sort of make me feel a little bit ill. So second thing we don't like about this game is those sliders. It's got to be one of the most insane design decisions that we've seen in a very long time, right? When I was setting this game up, I got a 5 by 3.5 foot table, right? And I just couldn't fit the fucking thing on a board. We had to get some tissue boxes and stick a couple of player boards on them so there was enough room to move these bloody sliders, yeah? And they don't really serve any purpose at all, really. You could just have had like what Eclipse does and had a bunch of tracks with discs on and just take the discs off when you build it. But no, they decided to go for some dumb, stupid gimmick with some sliders that look like massive dicks. So I don't know if the publishers have got some sort of dick fetish or something, but I fucking hate these sliders. They are a pain in the arse. So the next thing that we don't like about Carnegie is that sometimes you literally can't do anything. If somebody takes an action and you haven't got any of your workers on departments that can be activated, then that's it. There's nothing you can do. And because there's 4 different actions, it's very difficult to plan ahead for every single eventuality. More often than not, you're going to be forced to concentrate on 1 or 2 things, and then somebody chooses that action that you haven't planned for, and that's it. You are screwed. So even though all the actions are going to be available during the game multiple times, there's going to be occasions where you can't take that action. So the final thing that we don't like about Carnegie is that the main board is by and large a wasted space. What you got on there? You just got a couple of tracks, ain't you? Some places to stick your meeples, and then like a Ticket to Ride tribute act. So yeah, this ties in with the fact that we couldn't fit the game on a table, right? If you shrunk the main board a little bit, maybe reduced the amount of wasted space in the western region, and maybe just got rid of the scoring track because it's not really used throughout the game. You could quite easily do what Carcassonne does and have a scoring track to the side of the board that you're only going to use at the end, or maybe, God forbid, a scoring pad, right? But yeah, it just seems like they put a main board in here for the sake of it because a bog standard Euro game has to have a main board, right? So it just seems like a complete waste of time, and it just adds to that sense of frustration with this one. So, is Carnegie worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we're going to say maybe, maybe not. Carnegie is a solid Euro worker placement game that has the usual broad mix of options that link really, really well together. The sliders are one of the dumbest gimmicks I've seen in ages, and some actions on your turn are completely wasted because you just don't get the option to do everything that you want to do. But insofar as Euro games go, this could be a decent, albeit largely uninspiring addition to your collection of dry, ugly Euro games. So there you go, that is Carnegie. Remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you next time.